Okay, everybody. I need to explain some things to you. First of all, most people that have emotional troubles, they rely on a certain pattern in their life to be continuous, to be comfortable with. Lots of the doctors like to call that OCD, which means obsessively compulsive disorder. I call it desires. But disorder means that you follow a certain pattern all the time, and you have to have that. And it's not really a technical term to me for a psychiatrist, because in the world of large, at large, the things that we do seem very repetitious, kind of a skirting the realm of what is acceptable in the world and what's not acceptable. This is acceptable that we do things like this, but in psychiatrists, psychologists, uh, people dealing with mental difficulties and mental troubles, they classify it as OCD, but it's not. It really is. There is no such thing as OCD. It's just that it's out of the realm of what they consider regular in people's life. This is not regular, but yet they do the same thing. So who's calling who's what? Reason why I'm telling you this because there's certain things I do at the start of my little live webcam going on. And one is that I take a few seconds before I start talking. That's because I've been trained to know that the sound qualities don't pick up till a couple seconds after you get started. Some people will start talking the moment they press a button, and part of their conversation gets cut off because the mic did not pick up and start recording. Let's say, okay, I can go back and edit this, but this is live. There is no editing in this. So I give it a couple seconds before I get started talking. And some people out there will say, well, that's part of the obsessive compulsive disorder. Another things that we lots of people do that are having emotional troubles is they create a habit of some kind that they can stick to as part of the OCD. And each one can vary from person to person, their personalities, what they believe, and what they trust and don't trust. I smoke. I don't smoke regular cigarettes. I smoke newspaper cigars. The reason why is because the paper is natural leaf tobacco made without chemical process. All it is just ground to a very fine thing, and they use a little bit of water to make it into a paste that they take and spread out and make a very thin piece of paper with. Then they can roll their uh, tobacco up into it, and usually the tobacco they use is very, very fine cut, but not as fine as a cigarette. Thus, what this does, I still get the nicotine, but I get none of the tar. And it's the tar that does the problem. Nicotine is the habit part, but it's the tar that hurts the lungs. It's that's because paper is chemically treated, and the paper has uh, residue of the wood byproduct, and the wood byproduct is tar. And the chemical process lets that come out a little bit stronger. Where it's just natural leaf paper, wrapping the tobacco up, there is no tar. So I get the nicotine, but I don't get the tar. I'm satisfying one. Either way, we all have our little, what I call idioms, things we do that cannot be explained in a context that is acceptable to others around us or in society. These are idioms. We all have them. From the time we wake up to the time we go to bed, we're playing with these idioms. And you're going to find out that I have a lot of words that I've come up with to explain away some of the things that we do. Idioms means that we do things repetitious, and you have to understand what idiots is. Idiots is things that people do that is not acceptable to other society, people in society. And we keep doing them over and over and over, no matter how much we know that it's not right or try to process acceptability to being right. It is still repeated over and over and over. And that's what an idiot does. They repeat the same process over and over, hoping for a better outcome. There's philosophers and quite a few people from the past try to explain this away. But the best explanation for it is that it's an idiom, and that's what we do. So I've coined the phrase idioms as part of it. It's sort of like young Sheldon come up with a word for laughter or something hilarious as bazinga, only because he saw it on a sign or supposedly saw it on. Anyway, we all have our little idioms. We can't get away from that. And this is part of my OCD. And every one of us that has some type of emotional detachment will have some type of idiom that they do. This is mine. Another thing I do, I gotta have my coffee. And believe it or not, I learned this on the psych wards. There's certain luxuries on a psych ward that you have. One is they like to feed you coffee or juice of some kind. I don't always like juice. And coffees are, uh, let's say, not real coffee. It's more or less watered down uh, coffee beans or decaffeinated coffee and stuff like that. I prefer that over juice, even though I rather have my coffee strong black coffee. The reason why I like it like that, because on these wards, you can get some sugar with it, but you have to ask for the nurse station, and they give you 2 packs or 4 packs. 4 packs of much. They as much as they will give because the sugar interferes with your medications that you're taking, so they limit that. The caffeine, since they're feeding you decaffeinated coffee, is not that. Every once in a while for breakfast, nurses they'll recognize you if you drink a black coffee. Sometimes they'll give you a freeze dried coffee that has caffeine in it. But either way, I've gotten used to black coffee from being on the wards in these hospitals. Now, Not all psychiatric wards or psych wards, they like to call them, operate in the same way. Each one has their own manifest that they follow and they keep to. There is a big psych ward for Colorado State Hospital that's in Pueblo, Colorado. And this is state run. I told you, it used to be an army base, and they changed it over to a state hospital for psychiatric patients. They have other type of wards there too. And in the ward that I'm on, it's in a building with 4 levels. Okay, the first level are for the terminally ones that's going to be there forever. It's easy to bring them in, stick them in a room real fast on the first level, lock the door, and basically throw away the key. So they're not coming out until the doctor wants to talk to them. And usually, doctor talks to them through bars or things on them. Otherwise, they got a solid steel door there. Uh, Ones that's going to harm themselves, they put them in a well padded room. But that's the first floor. Those are the extreme cases. The second floor are for the ones that had moved from the first floor up. They're still very dangerous, very harmful to themselves or to others. And this way that they evaluate the first and second floor. Very rarely do somebody from the first floor ever make it to the third floor. Because on the third floor is what they do for the regular state intake of patients, okay? And the regular state of intake of patients are ones that they have to assess to place. And those assessments take into a higher control than the next level up. And they need to have that control because they want to know who you are, what you are. And once they've done this, and they've done this individually in a group, but never in a full open setting. The only time you have an open setting there is when you are feeding. And they bring these trays in the cart, and your food is dished out onto proportion with your name on it. And they do that for several reasons. One reason is because they're wanting you to eat a certain dietary thing to go along with medications that you're having. That's there. And the second reason, what they want to see how much you're eating compared to what you're not eating. Kind of assessing your dietary restrictions and seeing how much you're going to be compatible with what they offer you. And the other one is your socialization with others in the room while you're eating. Are you going to get upset because somebody might have more or less, or if they're getting a extra box of cereal with their milk that day, or they're not getting? If you're getting more sugar or less sugar, these little things, these are social interactions, and they want to see how you're going to cope with these situations. And they're always doing an assessment. The orderlies are walking around and they're asking, talking to you. But they're taking mental notes on these things and they're writing them down later on. The nurses are doing that. Cafeteria people bringing in are not to really interact with us, but yet they are to be friendly. So it's more like a meet and greet with you each and every. Oh, how you doing today, Mr. McRae? Or how you doing, Mr. Jane? Or how you doing, Mr. McGee? Or how you doing this and doing that? And they always refer to you as Mr. and Mrs. by your first name or last name, and that's it. And it's all about that. They learn about your dietary thing. You can't get anything extra unless it's approved by the head nurse. Because they'll look over, oh, so and so's wanting this. Can they have it? And usually the nurse will say yes or no. Most of the time they'll say yes, but sometimes they'll say no, straight out, unequivocal, just can't have it. Well, that's the way it goes on the third level. On the fourth level, they may be there, and this more of a free type of ward now. They've assessed you, they've placed you in group, and now they feel a little bit more comfortable with you. And people can talk, your diet is relaxed, you serve more like a cafeteria style food in there. You walk into a cafeteria type of thing and you're portioned out. You have real coffee, not caffeinated, but real coffee. You're able to do that. You also live in not in just group therapy, but social therapy, uh, getting you ready to go back out into the world. So you go into uh, job workshops and job placements. You're going into home life, so they're teaching about cooking and eating, things like that. They're seeing how you react with your fellow patient, with your fellow psych patients in there. And overall, you got a game room, television room, with things that you're doing. Smoke privileges are a little bit more relaxed. Um, if you have them, they'll say light them up if you have them. If you haven't got it, you can always ask the nurse and them because they carry a certain amount of cartons to where they can dole out one or two cigarettes at a time for a person. And that's the way it goes. All of them, the psych wards operate on a different level, different way, but the technique is still the same. And that's the other thing I like about these. They go out. If you don't smoke on them, they will go out naturally. This way you know it's not chemically treated. Chemically treated tobacco paper won't let it go out. This is not chemically treated, so if you not feeding it fuel of oxygen, it goes out. And this is more of a comfort thing to hold it in my hand than it is smoke it, even though I smoke it. Okay, back to the wards. Now, I talk about Colorado State mental wards, psych wards. That's in Pueblo, Colorado. And even though when they let me out, I took off from there and left, Pueblo, Colorado is claimed to fame as being three folds. One is the most updated in psychiatric treatment in the United States. They are progressively above the others, even though some states will say no, but they are. And the second claim of fame is that's the home of the underwriter's laboratory. Wherever you see the little code UL on the side of things, whatever, it means that it has been tested. It might not always be in Pueblo, but this is the managing officers, and they're the ones that have the final say of something getting the seal. So this is where their home is was or probably still is. I don't know. I haven't checked it out. Was Pueblo, Colorado. And the third, they are the cleanest city I have ever seen. Paper, whatever is not there. Litter is nowhere. The lawns and around the city and places are immaculately clean and well taken care of. That because the work inmates in Pueblo, Colorado, in order to earn money while they're in jail, they have to work. So they put them out doing things, and they get quite a few workers. They have what they call state holding cells there, just like New York has their big island where they hold everybody, all their city people at, and New Jersey uses them, and uh, other places throughout the state uses them. That's what Colorado does. They have so many beds in certain cities, and once they get full, they flush them off to Pueblo. Pueblo takes and makes them work. And so they have a high number of inmates out working, caring, cleaning the yards and everything like that. And that's the reason why they're clean. But more to the psych wards. On the psych wards, the big thing they want to do is find your assessments and letting you go and putting you back out into society. Well, the biggest criteria is not how angry you get, not about how happy you get. It's about how harmful you are. If you're not going to hurt anyone and strike out, hit anyone, that's the first mark, positive mark for you. And second, if you're not going to hurt yourself or think about suicide or anything like that, that's another mark, positive mark. Thirdly, and this is another one, they're going to assess you on how you try to figure out situations and cope with them. So they'll put the situations on you and you have to cope with it. It's going out again. Now, this I can go into a little bit deeper because I've been in and out throughout Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina. Uh, I've been in military one overseas and in Germany, or not say overseas, over in Germany. I've been in Colorado. I've been in Texas one. I've been in Oklahoma. Just short stay there, but I've been one in Arizona. So I've been in quite a few the short stays, long stays, 72 hours, and things. Been assessed, been categorized by judges and stuff like this. And I've been through the whole gambit. The biggest thing I hate is when people use my journey through emotional wellness and say they are the cause or this did it, that did it. They want no profit for what I went through. I don't like that. My journey is my journey. They had nothing to do with it. My struggles, I struggled with, and I became better. That's one reason why I'm where I'm at. These people that I'm with did not claim that they helped me. They just claimed that they gave me a chance to help myself. And that's fine. Most places won't do that. Most people out there want to claim, okay, this helped you, that helped you. It was because of me. And even caseworkers that say, well, I'm going to make you better. No, they're going out of my life in a heartbeat. Along my journey, I've gone to college, most of the time sitting in the back of the room as an auditor, studying on YouTube, looking up things in Wikipedia, studying, plus on Google, different things. And I've learned a lot in the past in my climb to become an emotional wellness. And I call myself that because there's a group of ladies, I can't remember if it's Oklahoma or Nebraska, that come up with ambassadors for mental illness. I still don't like that word, illness. When you have emotional detachment, it's not an illness. That's a separation of yourself from the world, and you need to reconnect. That's a journey. So I call it an emotional disconnect journey type of thing. But once you get to a certain point to where you know that you're stable, everybody around you, even your caseworkers, know that you're stable. You're off your medications, doctor took you off of it, then that is a reality that you can live with. And then you're on your way to saying that you are emotionally well. Those that's gone through it, and I don't know how many there is no real statistics about it, because I'm creating this right now. I'm using ambassadors, but I don't use mental illness. I say emotional wellness, because that's what we are. We are ambassadors of emotional wellness that's gone through this journey and has reached this plateau. I see so many people out there posting about schizophrenia and the disorders and the psychosis and all like this. I've been through all that. People use terminologies like that when they don't know any better. It's about like a baby, you know. A baby takes a few steps and learns, and it's going to fall, and it learns to fall on its butt, so it doesn't hurt as bad. But it keeps going. But once the baby gets the gist of walking, it runs. Then after it runs, it learns to speak and all. It's a journey that we go through. We have to bring ourselves back to reattach our emotions to the world, and we need to accept that we were emotionally detached. Be easy dissociate ourselves from the world again, but we struggle each and every day to keep ourselves attached. And I call myself an ambassador for it because I'm trying to promote it. I don't want any type of financial promotionals coming in here. I want this all to be just something that is not paid or sponsored. And with that, I'm going to leave you with it, and I'm going to come back another time. Thank you. This is David, Ambassador for Emotional Wellness. Thank you so much.